Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Virgil Breeden. This is my third post in my war against the corruption in Mississippi courts and all the problems that we have in the Mississippi Department of Corrections. In my first two posts, I basically set the stage. They were not scripted. I talked a little bit about why I'm here, about how absolutely necessary this war is, and about the fact that I'm going to be here until I die or until they kill me, and I have been threatened, as I mentioned in my first post. I'm going to try and make this a lot more brief today. The things that I have to present are much more specific. I have facts for you concerning a legal case, and this is going to resolve mostly around the Mississippi Department of Corrections and around the district court, which is a federal court here in the state of Mississippi. First of all, briefly, the first post that I made have been incredibly well received, and I'm touched. I don't know what to say. I think people understand that we have a problem, a very serious problem, a big problem, and now they know that I'm going to take this problem on. And I think that there are people who are willing to stand with me and to support. As you know, I'm still new at this social media stuff, so I really don't know exactly what direction to take in regard to social media. I'm learning as quickly as I can. These posts, I have been told, will reach a lot of people, and the more people we can reach, the better. If after watching these posts you agree, if you've been hurt by the system, if you understand what it means for our courts to be corrupt and all the other things that go along with it, then I'm asking you to subscribe, to like. I think those are the things which will prompt YouTube and the other social media platforms to get this information out to more people. I've even been told that with enough views I can make a little money at this. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to fight injustice and corruption. Now, don't get me wrong, if I made a little bit, it would be nice, because I essentially have nothing. I would like to be able to afford a couple of suits so that I might approach the legislature, so that I might go to the Mississippi Supreme Court when I go there and be a little more presentable. But if I don't have that, it's okay. To fight this fight, to make the changes that we need to see, to do the things that are absolutely necessary to support this state that I love so much. I would stand on the street corner in Jackson, Mississippi, butt naked if it would help. The clothes I have on right now, I've got on a pair of jeans, cost me $2. I got them at the Kennedy Springs thrift store just on the other side of Martinville, here close to Mendenhall. The ladies out there are fantastic. Miss Debbie, Miss Melba, they have that place organized better than most department stores. But because I don't have anything else, that's kind of where I have to shop. I'm good with that. I'm going to make one visit this month to Jackson. I'm going to the Mississippi Department of Corrections, and I'm hoping that if anyone gets an opportunity to see this that really cares, that someone might meet me on the doorsteps of the Mississippi Department of Corrections on April the 17th. I think that will be this coming Thursday. I will be there at 8 a.m. and I will wait for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, to see if anyone shows up who would like to make comments in regard to the corruption that we have going on in this state, to the problems that we have with the Mississippi Department of Corrections, or any other statement they want to make. If they want to say something about me, good or bad, I will have this iPad with me. They will be allowed to do so. I don't want anything but honesty. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, that's what's important. Bring facts, bring opinion if you wish, but I hope that someone will show up. Even if it's one person, I will be thrilled, because not too many people know about this yet. What I'm going to do is to go in the Department of Corrections, and very respectfully, I'm going to ask for a job. Now, you may think that's strange because I'm 74 years old. I did 18 years in prison, charged with attempted murder, and it is highly unlikely that they're even going to talk to me. But I'm also going to ask for an appointment to speak with Commissioner Burl Cain. Now, as I said, this is the only trip I'll be able to make to Jackson this month because of finances. In fact, I'm probably going to be on a diet by the end of the month, especially because I'm taking this trip. But that's all right. I can stand to lose a few pounds. It doesn't bother me a bit in the world. But what I want to do is make that first trip and let everybody know that when I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And I hope that some of you will come out and offer your support. Please, if you see this video, if you see the other videos, and I'm asking that you take a look at them, please subscribe, please like. That will get them out to a lot of people. So thank you very much. I hope that on April the 17th, Thursday morning at 8 a.m., you will be at 301 North Lamar Street in Jackson. That is the Mississippi Department of Corrections. Now, I have here my email address. Any comments that anyone would like to send me by email, please feel free to do so. You know, on this camera, this thing may actually be backwards. It is docv.jr@gmail.com. So if it shows up backwards, I apologize. I'll rewrite it next time and fix it to where you can see it. But it's docv.jr@gmail.com. And please feel free to send me any comment that you wish, to send me any story that you wish. If you've been harmed by the Department of Corrections, if you've been harmed by the corruption in the system, let me know that, and I will put all that information and I will try to get it out there as time permits. If I do not respond personally to everyone, please understand it's not because I'm not reading everything you send. Now, I want to get to something very specific. This is about the case of one John Milton Saquin, and that's S-A-Q-U-I-N-G. Mr. Saquin is a prisoner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. In 2008, he was diagnosed with glaucoma. In 2014, he saw a specialist, an eye specialist, ophthalmologist. That is the only individual capable of taking care of a person who has glaucoma. Glaucoma is a complicated problem. It involves the pressure on the inside of the eye, and I'm not going to go into the specifics of the disease, but I will tell you this: it can lead to a lot of problems, and in particular it can lead to blindness. Now, Mr. Saquin had been seen on a couple of occasions by a specialist. Those specialists ordered that he be seen on a regular basis by an ophthalmologist. They are the only people capable of treating the disease, and that order is absolutely necessary to be followed. The Mississippi Department of Corrections has no one who can treat that particular problem. Now, during the time that we're talking about here, around the middle to the end of 2014, there was a lot of controversy in the department because Christopher Epps, the former commissioner, was being charged on, I believe, 48 counts of corruption. Interestingly enough, he was never charged in the state of Mississippi. But during that time, the department began refusing to allow John Saquin to go back and see a specialist for his eye care. He begged, please don't let me go blind. What worse can you do to an individual than to blind them? Well, let me tell you what happened. They kept refusing for close to 3 years, about 5 weeks away from 3 years. In 2016, his vision in his right eye had already gotten down to the point to where all he could see was a little bit of light, and he begged, please, get me the care I need, and they refused to get him the care he needed. Finally, he was seen, 2017. It was too late. He was blinded. He was blinded. And they could have prevented this. Every specialist that he has seen since then has said if he had received appropriate care, his vision would have been maintained. So now the man's blind in his right eye after begging and begging. And there's another problem. John Sakine was born with FAS. That is short for fetal alcohol syndrome. It happens to a newborn whenever they are born to a mother who has abused alcohol during the pregnancy. In John's case, that was fairly serious, and it has left him with some problems. They are problems with what we call cognizance, his cognitive ability to understand a lot of things. John does not have the capability of filing a legal case. He doesn't really have the ability to do those things necessary to get the information, to research case law, to script briefs, all of the things that are necessary for a prisoner to do what is called a pro se filing. Pro se meaning prosequendum, or short for prosequendum, which means I'm doing this myself. He doesn't have that capability. Everything that he's done while he's been in prison, asking for legal information and whatever, he always goes and asks someone to help him. He came to me and said, would you help me? They blinded me. And I said, you damn right, I'll help you. And on his behalf, I filed a lawsuit. It is disgusting what they did to him, and just as disgusting what the courts have done to protect the Mississippi Department of Corrections along the way. The motions that I filed on behalf of John Sakine were ignored. The two judges, Jordan and Ball, Jordan being the district judge and Keith Ball being the magistrate, were decidedly on the part of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. Justice was not done. Judge Jordan dismissed some of the defendants simply because he misunderstood a legal term called respondeat superior. Respondeat superior means let the master answer. I'm not going to explain that in detail right now, but that means someone in a supervisory position can be held liable for the actions of someone underneath them in certain circumstances. Now, when you file under 42 U.S.C. 1983, which is a law which allows you to file a lawsuit whenever you have been denied a constitutional right, respondeat superior does not attach. You can't just say that someone is liable because they're a superior. But the very words of 1983, and I'm going to post all of this a little later on so that you can read it for yourself, state that someone who takes an action and that action causes an injury to a party, then they're responsible. That action doesn't have to be direct, but it can be associated with the individual who normally in what's called a tort action might be held responsible under the respondeat superior doctrine. It's not as complicated as it sounds, and I'm not going to explain it right now because I want to be as brief as possible and not have you guys click off because I get too wordy. But I am going to post all of this, and I'm going to make it available to you so that you can see actually how simple it is and how easy it is to understand what happened to John Sakine. I filed a lawsuit on his behalf because he was blinded. In the end, that lawsuit was dismissed without and I repeat, without legal substance by Keith Ball, based on what he interpreted from the United States Supreme Court ruling in a number of cases, and it didn't work. It does not make sense. I had explained this to him, exactly what the United States Supreme Court said, and he ignored it so that he could protect MDOC. Once again, I'm going to post all this. I'm going to type it all out, and I'm going to have it so you can see it and you can understand it. And as I said in one of my other posts, if Keith Ball or Jordan or any of these other judges that I'm going to talk about have a problem with me, there's a chair right over there in front of me. All they got to do is come and sit there, butt down in that chair, and let's talk about the law. They can ask me whatever they want. They can say whatever they want to about me, but they're going to have to answer my questions about the law, about the rulings from the Mississippi Supreme Court, from the United States Supreme Court, and why they have screwed those up so much. I'm sorry, I get angry, I get upset. A man was blinded. Well, that's not all the story. Later on, MDOC again began denying Sakine the opportunity to see the specialist, when it was the specialist who kept insisting that he be seen on a regular basis. And the problem with his eye, even though he was already blind in the eye, got worse. It got to the point to where he was having pain. He was having headaches. He was having dizziness. Things that should never have been. If the pressures in the eye, even though he was blind there, had been maintained correctly, then he might have gotten by all right. But guess what? MDOC didn't care. They just didn't give a damn. What happened? He wound up having to have a disfiguring surgery. He wound up having to have the eye removed. He lost that orbit. He should never have gone blind in the first place. This is an example, a very specific example, of what MDOC does, has done, and is doing right now. I have another case I'm going to talk to you about later. But this is, it's an emergency. Something has to be done. The medical care is not being provided because MDOC does not pay their bills to these specialists, and they stop seeing patients when MDOC wants to get an appointment with them. Not really sure I can blame them. I'm going to try and speak with Dr. Jaime Jimenez over at Southern Eye Center in the next few days. An excellent specialist. While he was seeing John Sakine, he did a lot to try and help him. Other specialists have been involved also. He was referred to the Hattiesburg Eye Clinic. The nurse practitioner there, I think it was a Mr. Johnston, saw John Sakine and was very upset because he had been so long getting to see a specialist, and he immediately referred him to Dr. Cooley, who works at the Hattiesburg Eye Center. Dr. Cooley is an excellent physician, knowledgeable. He is a good surgeon. He did a cataract on my eye. You couldn't ask for better care by anybody. And his staff, Ms. Westbrook, these are people that make you feel like a real human being. Even if you go in there as a prisoner and you go in there in shackles, they treat you like a regular person. Do you know how rare that is for someone in prison? This is the kind of care that everyone should get. But we know that prisoners only get a minimum of care. A minimum of care. The least amount of care that can be called adequate. And right now in MDOC, especially at Greene County, they're not getting that. It's just going right out the freaking window. Now, when I get to Jackson on Thursday, the 17th, if you come out, if you're only one person, and if you've had a problem with MDOC, with the courts, please write down a few notes and bring me your story. I will compile that not only into the books that I'm writing, but hopefully be able to report that. I'm not sure if they're going to let me into the offices with a camera. I'm going to try. I went to Jackson Tuesday to file some paperwork on behalf of John Sakeen. I have another lawsuit filed on his behalf. And I want to mention this too. I'm sorry. I am representing John Sakeen. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a paralegal. But nobody else will do it. He has FAS. He can't do this himself. So I am his de facto legal counsel. That simply means that I just happen to be the one that's trying to help him. So if the courts, if the people that are going to be very upset with me because of the videos that I've posted and because of this video, if they want to come after me, come on. I'm essentially practicing law. But what else are we going to do? All of these people on television who say, I will return your call, or I'm out for the little guy. When you mention MDOC, they tremble in their boots. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not scared of MDOC. I'm not scared of the courts or anybody else who walks through the door. I'm going to help this man in every way I can. We've got a lawsuit for $16 million filed against these people. What do you expect? He's been blinded. He's had a disfiguring surgery. He's suffered. He's not the only one. I'm also going to tell you about James Van Lanningham. Wait till you hear that story. So for right now, let me say, thank God that people are responding to what I've had to say like they have. I appreciate every one of you from the bottom of my heart. But if you don't like me, please get together with somebody else out there who knows what we're suffering. I'm going to type up some things. I'll get them out to you. I'm going to try and cut this short now. You've got my email address. That's docv.jr@gmail.com. And it may show up backwards on the screen here. I'm not sure. But know that I'm grateful. Know that I don't mind spending the money to go to Jackson and being on a diet at the end of the month because I'm going to have very limited funds. I can live with that. I'm asking you to support these videos and what I'm trying to do because it's so important. We have to do something. I've got some specific quotes coming up from you from some of our judges, and these I think will impress you. I'm going to do that next time, not this time. I'm going to get gone for right now, as we say down south. Get gone is probably not proper English, but it's about the best I can do right now because I'm really ticked off just talking about somebody being blinded whenever it's so totally unnecessary. It makes me very angry. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off. Please tell your friends about this video. Ask them to, again, I think it's subscribe and like, and please place any comments, good or bad. I can handle whatever you put. I know the judges are probably going to get some people to get on here and put some bad comments about me. Say what you want to, I don't care. But this is not about me, it's about the state of Mississippi. And I got news for you. I'll probably say this a lot of times in the future. I love Mississippi. And to all of you out there, all I can do is say thank you. And God bless.